last year, an Indian patrol of the Central Reserve Police Force, which was patrolling the Pulwama area in the Indian held Kashmir, that is the Indian held Kashmir Valley, was attacked by a suicide bomber in which 40 Central Reserve Police Force men were killed. India accused Pakistan of masterminding the attack, responding to the Indian statement of accusing Pakistan and holding it responsible for the attack. Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, stated that in case India attacked Pakistan on the pretext of Pulwama attack, Pakistan will not think about retaliation. It will retaliate. The Indian attack came on 26th February, in which 12 Indian Air Force Mirage 2000 aircraft sneaked into Pakistani territory at night and bombed what they called or what they alleged was a terrorist camp inside Pakistan. They claimed that they had, as a result of the airstrike or the air raid, killed between 200 and 300 terrorists which were there in the camp. However, on ground, there was no such evidence or a sign of any madrasa or terrorist camp existing there. Indians had not substantiated their claim with any air photographs or satellite images. All one could see was a small patch of blown up air and some felled trees. Pakistan retaliated on 27th of February, targeting 6 Indian Army installations, but deliberately missing their targets in order to lure in the Indian aircraft into Pakistani territory, into Pakistani airspace, where 2 of the Indian aircraft were shot down. One was piloted by Wing Commander Abhinandan. His plane, the wreckage of his plane fell inside Pakistani territory, and Abhinandan was taken prisoner. The other aircraft, an Su-30, fell inside Indian territory. Its wreckage fell inside Indian territory. Indians claimed that they considered the loss of Abhinandan's MiG-21, but then equalized it by claiming that Abhinandan, before getting shot down, had killed or had shot down a Pakistani F-16 aircraft. But again, there was no proof of the Pakistani aircraft getting shot down. Indian attack, as we analyze now, was a fleeting raid in which they hurriedly came, sneaked into Pakistani territory, and thereafter, getting rid of their weapons, went back as hurriedly as they had come. Indian Air Force is a much bigger air force than the Pakistani Air Force, at least twice its size. It could have remained in Pakistani airspace for a longer duration and challenged the Pakistan Air Force for a showdown, but it elected to avoid any confrontation with its smaller rival. Indian mindset could be gleaned from the statement which Modi gave some days after the incident. He said, had we got Rafale aircraft, the things would have been different. This shows that Indians were banking upon Rafale, and they were banking upon it so desperately that they said that their failure or lack of performance on 27th February against the Pakistan Air Force was due to not having the Rafale aircraft. Why they are so desperate about Rafale? In fact, the Indian Air Force wants an aircraft with super cruise capability. A super cruise capability is one where the aircraft maintains sustained supersonic flight without resorting to afterburners. The other aircraft in the world, including F-16, F-15, and the rest of the aircraft, even those aircraft which are held by the PAF and IAF in their inventories, except Rafale, which is now being inducted, do not have super cruise capabilities. The other aircraft do not have super cruise capabilities. They can have supersonic speeds, they can achieve supersonic speeds in spurts or in short bursts, making use of fuel guzzling afterburners. So, this is a capability which the Indians want, that they should have a super cruise aircraft, an aircraft with super cruise capabilities, with which they can sneak into the enemy's airspace, deliver their weapons, and then hurriedly withdraw into their own territory. They would rather prefer not to enter the enemy airspace, that is Pakistan's airspace, but prefer to launch their weapons, that is the beyond visual range weapons, from within their own territory. This is what they want. So in any future war, the Indians, the Indian pilots will prefer to avoid any confrontation with their Pakistani rivals by staying in their own territory and launching their weapons from the relative security of Indian airspace. Now, as I said, while Indian press and their government had conceded the loss of one aircraft because they could not hide it. The pilot was in Pakistani custody. But then they equalized it by claiming that Abhinandan had also shot down a Pakistani F-16. But then they had no evidence to that. The Indian press, while getting hoarse on desperately trying to explain the loss of the aircraft and to prove that a Pakistani F-16 was also shot down, was countered by some sane Indian journalists also, who said that in the first place, IAF should not have boxed itself into a situation where it was constrained to explain whether or to debate whether it was one plane or two plane which was shot down. It should have uh, punished Pakistan in such a heavy-handed manner that Pakistan should not have even dared to uh, launch such an attack in the future. And one of the journalists said, I would conclude this talk with his remarks. He said, to that extent, February 27 was an opportunity that IAF clearly missed. It was pure luck that more MiG 21s were not lost. That's about all for this session. We'll be discussing more in the subsequent sessions. Till then, bye bye.